Hey everybody, this is Julian from Connected NICU, and this is another Father Friday. If I look a little red, if I look a little tinted, it's because I spent literally almost all day up on a mountain at a camp with college students on a leadership and training event. That jingling in the background, don't let that bother you. That's actually our half Border Collie, half Cocker Spaniel around the corner, who decided to have some lunch because I put him out of the room and wouldn't let him be on camera. So if you guys really want him to be on camera in the future, maybe I'll stick him on here so you can see who he is. But aside from that, I really wanted to do Father Friday from on top of the mountain. We had a perfect view. You could see a number of different mountains and different counties and everything, but I couldn't get a reception up there. Had to come down the mountain and come back home and put this on. Today we said that we were going to talk about nicknames, and specifically I was going to talk about the nickname of our son. We called him Jutu, and tell the origin of where that came from. Essentially, my name is Julian. It's spelled Julian, and one of the nicknames that I've had over time is Jew. Some people call me Juju, Juju Bean, different variations over time. And so we kind of said, well, what do we want to name our son? And we said we wanted to name him Julian, Julian Nixon II. So Julian Nixon II, that kind of sounds boring, but we thought about the fact that my nickname was Jew. And what if we called him Jew? And we said, nah, that would be confusing, so why not call him Jew 2? So instead of Thing 1 and Thing 2, it's Jew 1 and Jew 2. So that's where the nickname kind of came from. One other thing, wanted to talk about memory makers. One of the things as a father when you're in a NICU that's really difficult is it can be emotional. And your NICU experience doesn't have to be a bad one. I'm not talking about something in our case where we lost our son, but it may be in the case where you're there just for a few days. You still want to make the most of that moment. You want to treat every hour with your child in the NICU like it is the best hour ever. That's why you want to make those memories. And so I gave my son, my wife and I, we gave our son that nickname, but then there were other things that we did. We created things for him. The nurses made banners for him. We went out and the grandparents looked for special blankets for him. We spent a lot of time doing things for him and making those memories in those moments. So, you never ever want to just let that time pass by without seeing that time as significant. It's very important. Some people want to wait until they get out of the NICU. The son gets older or the daughter gets older and they teach them to ride their bike, or they're old enough to play with a new puppy, or they're old enough to take to Disney World. That's waiting too late. Make the memories while you're there. My wife dedicated a Dr. Seuss story to him. I took different books and special things up there to read to him. I wrote poetry to him, and I would read it to him. And I would actually literally sit my my rocking chair beside his isolette and talk to him and read to him. And I told him that one day he and I would be on a stage together. Sometimes I speak at different things. I'm a motivational speaker. And I told him, there'll be times where he and I will be on a stage together. Always wanted to do that. So, you make the most of your moments. That way that you'll have those warm memories in the future, regardless of what happens to you in the NICU. And that's very important. It's important to keep you grounded, especially as a father. Some people in the NICU, they recognize that the father is an integral piece in the family. In my experience, and just being open and honest and vulnerable here, in my experience, there were a few nurses and a couple of doctors who they spent time talking to me and everything, but I asked for a lot. A lot of times people didn't speak to me. They didn't talk to me. There was even a few times where people would come by to check vitals on the baby,